We'll talk about triumph over tragedy. My first guest is the son of Dog the Bounty Hunter, but Wesley Chapman says he was abandoned by his father at a very young age and grew up bouncing around from house to house. But even at the young age of 8, he started to make a name for himself. So now Wes is here inspiring others. Thank you so much for joining us. We do appreciate it.
Thank you. It's an honor.
I want to talk about your childhood just for a moment so people can sort of hear your history and your story. Your dad, Dog the Bounty Hunter.
Right.
How old were you when he left you and your mom?
He left, or, you know, there's two sides of the story.
Sure.
But when I was 1 year old, and then she moved away, and, you know, I lost contact with him and didn't reconnect till I was 26, and I'm 33 now. So we reconnected when I was 26 years old.
Now, at what point were you in the foster system?
I wasn't ever technically in the foster system. I was abandoned at the hospital by my mother when I was 6 and a half, and spent the next year, 2 years in and out of hospitalization, halfway homes, different things like that, where they tried to figure out where I was going to go. At 7 and a half, the psychologist and the psychiatrist said, he's too broken, he's not going to be fixed, you know, basically let's drug him up and hope he's not in an orange jumpsuit someday. And my biological grandmother came in and said, no, that's not what's going to happen. And she took me in when I was 8. And from 8 until, you know, I left for college, she was my mom, she was my dad, she was everything.
She was your everything.
She was.
But right after she took you in, you were telling me 3 months after she took you in, she ends up becoming disabled, and you, as an 8-year-old, are now basically in charge of figuring out how to make money for yourself, and you did it at 8.
Yeah, it was a crazy situation. I had gone from a lot of abuse and a lot of different things that happened to me, and then I come into her life, and she was very successful. She was a very successful administrator at a hospital. She had a very nice home, a great career, and literally she lost the use of her arms in a matter of weeks. And I remember sitting on my tire swing thinking, you know, adults just suck.
Yeah.
They can't do anything worthwhile, so, you know, it's up to me. And so that's where I took in some initiative and saw some stuff, and there's a whole long story to it, but saw some opportunity and started selling flowers door to door, and then started washing stay-at-home moms' cars and doing different things like that, and turned it into anywhere from $500 to $1,000 a day making money. So
$500 to $1,000 a day, and you're 8 years old. So think about that. Now, this starts snowballing as you grow older. Tell me about yourself now.
So it snowballs into some great successes and some epic failures, like any entrepreneur will ever tell you. And now I'm an entrepreneur really helping other entrepreneurs. I've been given a lot of nicknames, and the one I like right now is Entrepreneur Enabler. And so it's about helping entrepreneurs understand the process of becoming an entrepreneur. It's not as glamorous as it seems, you know, Instagram making billions of dollars after 18 months. I mean, it's not like that in every situation. And so there's a lot of opportunity, but there's a lot of people that need that coaching and that help. So that's where I come in and help, and I've got a company that we do a bunch of stuff with branding and marketing strategies.
And you're based right here in San Diego. Starting tomorrow, you're going to be talking to folks at the Rock Church. These are kids that are aging out of the foster system. They're 18 to 26 years old. They don't have a family to fall back on. They don't have that support system, but they need answers and they need guidance, and that's where you and a few other folks with the Life on Fire Foundation are coming in. And tell me what's going on.
Yeah, so when I first moved to San Diego, I met an individual named Chad, and he introduced me to an organization called Just in Time, which is a phenomenal group that helps foster children who are aging out of the system, that 18 to 26-year-old, where they've been poked and prodded, they've been in 4 or 5 homes, they've had a lot of attention, even though it's not positive attention you may think, but it's still attention. And then they become 18 and the system says, now you're done. And they go off to college. And all of us remember, if any of us have gone to college in a normal situation, that's tough enough. Imagine if you don't have mom or dad or brother or sister to call. So these children are basically completely alone. So our whole goal at this event is to help them and educate them, show them that they're not alone. It's not just me, it's a lot of local entrepreneurs in San Diego getting together. We're giving them Kindle Fires to kind of get them so they've got something there to read books and educate themselves. And then really it's about motivating them, sharing my story, sharing other stories about triumph, and they don't have to accept the quote-unquote reality that they've been given.
Let's just talk about this event really quick. It's tomorrow at the Rock Church, the high school room, from 5 to 8 p.m. Wes was just sharing with me that it will be packed, and that just goes to show you the need out there. Lifeonfire.com is the website if you'd like some more information. Really quick, though, these people look at you, and you're dressed in a nice suit, and you've got the successful business now. What do you say to them when they say, I'm never going to be you, I'm never going to have this success, I don't even know where to start? What do you say?
I say the first thing is, you know, drop that attitude, because you can't look at anybody else and say that. I mean, I've always wanted to play in the NFL. It's not going to happen. I mean, I watched the Super Bowl yesterday. horrible game, but anyway, I watched the Super Bowl and I'm thinking, man, I could pass better than, you know, that. And so it's not about comparing yourself, it's about believing in yourself. And that's really where it starts. I mean, again, 7.5 years old, I'd already tried to commit suicide twice. I mean, we didn't get into that. So these guys are telling me I'm worthless, I'm not going to be anything, and I have one person who tells me that I'm going to be something. Not by saying that, but by action. So my whole thing is it's not about what I say, it's about how I act. So being at these groups, supporting these children, that's what's really where it comes into play. Because they're not looking at, if you just say, oh, you can do it, they're looking at it saying, you can do it and I'm going to help you. And that's one of the aspects we're doing here too, is we're going to mentor some of these children and actually take them through a business and have them start a dream and take them all the way through the whole process.
This is amazing. Hey, you know what, thank you for giving back and thank you for what you're doing right here in our own community. Wes Chapman, again, you can find more information on your website, wesleydchapman.com. Thanks again for coming in. What an incredible story.